Greetings. This is Arvette McLean with Speak, the Universe Listens. New ways to view age-old challenges. Change your thoughts, change your life. Step into the bigness of you. Greetings. Welcome to today's episode of Speak, the Universe Listens. Today's topic is staying conscious. And I have Rodney joining me,
Hey.
Teron,
Hey.
and Steven.
Hey.
Hey guys.
Hey.
So staying conscious, just saying that title, staying conscious, what does that mean to you, Teron?
It means to stay in the present moment, you know. To stay conscious is to not think about the past, but also not get bogged down and think about the future that you want. But to know that the life that you create today creates the life that you want for tomorrow. And the life that you create today negates anything in the past that you don't want to hold on to. And so I think that's what it means to me to stay conscious, is to stay present in the moment, but stay completely, to stay intentionally present in the moment. To do everything that you're doing with the intention of this is what I want and this is who I am and I want to be abundant or I want to be rich, or then just drop that to I am. I think that's what it means to stay conscious.
Okay. I think that sums it up.
So what made you what made you get to that state of consciousness?
So for me, honestly, it was a lot of doing this podcast. It was a lot of, so when we first started doing this podcast, I would be behind the scenes just recording, and I was like, yeah, as I would do it, I would hear Arvette speak, and I would go, yeah, I want these things. And then it turned into, well, just do the practices that she gives. And then I started doing those practices, and then it turned into, well, no, now just be what you want. And so now, now I don't know. I never feel like I desire anything, because everything I desire, I just become.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
And so it's like I don't know, it's hard to, I don't know exactly when it happened. I just know there was a period where I stopped thinking about, I want to do this in the future, and I was thinking, well, what I'm doing now is creating that in the future.
Mm-hmm. So when you say become, how do you become?
I think the first step, like we always say, to feel it. It's like you want to, okay, if I want to be rich, first to become rich, you got to what does that feel like, what does it feel like to have money? And so if you can't really see that on the outside, then think about, what did you feel like when you had your largest amount of money? So even if it's just $200, what did having that $200 in your pocket feel like? Because let me tell you, I remember the first time I got what I felt like a loan, it was a big sum of money. I was like, man, I could buy whatever I want. We're going to get all the shoes for everybody around here. And, so, yeah, I think to become it is you got to feel it, and then you got to live in it, But when you're feeling it, you could start off faking it, but you don't want to continue to fake it. You eventually want to get to that place where it's I genuinely feel like I'm rich. I'm walking around like I'm rich. I'm talking to people in the same manner, not feeling like, oh, this person got more money than me. I'm feeling like, no, we're on the same level because we there.
Sure. For me, man, consciousness is just basically being in a mindset of awareness, attention, living in my present moment. I think I started getting into my consciousness, I'm gonna say 5 years ago, 2016, 15, somewhere in that ballpark. But just over time, I became a lot more aware of some things, and continuously just learning. Not learning, but coming better and being conscious. And I think for anybody wanting to be conscious, it's just basically it's a process. For anybody, it's a process. But that's my viewpoint on consciousness.
Yeah, I pretty much look at it the same way y'all do. Like, I look at being unconscious like you're not there.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So being conscious would mean you aware and alert and there and present. So yeah, I would say being present in the moment and enjoying the moment and being grateful for the moment.
Yeah.
I remember thinking that the more you on the go, the more you doing, the busier you are. Like, that made me feel like that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I'm accomplishing something. Like, I'm successful because I'm busy. I'm successful because I got a lot to do. Or, I used to think that. But when thinking that made me never enjoy what was in front of me, because I was always thinking about, well, what's the next thing I got to do after this?
Yeah.
And then what's the next thing? And then what's the next thing? So being conscious for me is being present in that moment, being grateful for that moment, being grateful for what I have in front of me, and being grateful for what I'm going to have too.
I like that.
Yeah, I would say the exact same thing. And so I actually am working on being more conscious because I typically, I live, so I used to exist like my emotion was like down there.
Okay.
And then at some point I was okay. And then now I'm content. Like all the time, I'm just content. And I was like, well, couldn't I just be thrilled, excited? Like I want to be here, next level up all the time. Now, I do have those moments when I'm the next level up, and it's usually when I'm very focused and, I'm doing like, oh, I love me, or, looking at the sun or looking at the animals or looking at, mountains, whatever, like those types of things take me up. And just like Rodney said, being in gratitude for everything around me. Like when I'm taking walks, I'm like looking at, oh my goodness, these trees are so beautiful, and oh, look at the sky, and that's just for me, and and I just get excited. But I'm not there most of the times. I'm just very content, just very content. Yeah. And very content feels really good, especially when you know that. So very content feels really good, but my thing is to live at even a higher state. And so I have to remind myself on a regular basis, like, don't just walk into a room, but when you walk into the room, just look at everything, and just like, because like when I was driving here today, coming from Smithfield, I was just like so thankful for the roads, right? And I was just thinking like, if there was a hurricane or a tornado or something and it tore everything apart, because I had seen this on TV one time, and I was like really stunned because the people didn't know where their house was. Like they don't know, like in the absence of landmarks, you don't know where you are. Right. So when a tornado comes and wipes out, it's nothing there, and it's like, how do you know how to get to where your house was? Right. And so anyway, I was thinking about all of that today, and I was like, at some point there were no roads, it was just trees, and I'm like, people literally carved these roads out, and we can get to anywhere we want to go. I was going to say by looking at a map, but these days you just, GPS, and it said go that way. But I was just, in awe. And so I've been consciously taking the time to be excited about every little thing, everything that we take for granted, like to really get excited about it, because it's just really amazing when you think about it. And it's like so much stuff that's already here for us. Right. Like imagine being the first people who didn't have these things, and like to be able to hop on a bus or be able to hop on an airplane, or just so many things, to even just to have electricity or a roof over our head. Like we take all that for granted. And so I've been really intentional, consciously bringing my awareness to it and saying, wow, like, man, we got lights.
Yeah, and to piggyback off that, like, I would only like feel so deep into the moment when it was a new experience, like going somewhere out of town new and things like that. But I realized I was cutting off that connection because I wasn't grateful for everything in the day-to-day life, like just being able to get up, being able to get in the car, being able to go here, go there, and just, so I started, like you said, kind of putting my focus on appreciating these things. Like, I'd be riding the highway now and I'd be like, it's an abundance of trees. Like, it's a lot of trees, like they seem endless. Like, so yeah, just putting my focus and being grateful for, like you said, the little things we don't think about all the time, and appreciating it in the moment.
Right, like a toothbrush.
Right. Yeah, we got so much stuff that we don't even think about because we feel like it's just been there our whole life. Or, it's just, we just don't think about these things. I remember me and Teron, we used to always, like, we'd be like, man, our best nights, we ain't got no record of it. Like, we don't have no videos, no pictures of nothing from our best nights, but we were just living in the moment and appreciating it, and it wasn't, oh, I'm doing this, let me pull out my phone. No, we were really present in the moment and enjoying it.
I love that.
I've been challenging myself to stay more conscious when it comes to receiving words. I was just sharing with y'all earlier, like now, like at first, if somebody were to give me a compliment, I would say like thank you and kind of like dismiss it. But like now I'm starting to like hear the words and like actually like take in, like let that energy of what those words mean carry into me. And I think just doing that is a great way to stay present in every moment too. Like when you're actually able to acknowledge, like when somebody says, hey, I like your haircut. Like, and you sit down and you feel in that presence of, man, my hair must be looking amazing today. Like that. So that has been a thing for me. And also lately, I've been staying like conscious in terms of like being appreciative of random little things. Like the other day, the thing that blew my mind, and I stayed on it for like a good 10 minutes, was we are able to make decisions so early. Like a 3-year-old is out in the world making like real life decisions. Like that is just mind blowing to me. And then it's like, that's also powerful. Like at your youngest age, you're also still capable of creating so much. So yeah, I don't know. That's really been on me lately.
Okay. I'm being more conscious lately, just more of like receiving things. I remember like, and I'm still battling a little bit with it, but like trying to receive from others. So when I say that, it's like, you may say, hey, I got this brand new car for you. And I'm like, oh, I ain't asked you for that car, I don't know how to take that, So just basically just receiving things. My good friend Arvette, she made my day this week and just checking in on me, giving me a compliment. I'm like, I felt that. I was like, that made me feel good, co-worker at work, they gave me a tool, which, I could have went to the store and got the tool. It wasn't that much of a big deal. But they're like, no, take it. And I'm like, I appreciate that, So loosening my grip on, trying to, how can I say it? Just being better at receiving things. When somebody want to give me some, hey, being open to just like, take it. Don't you feel like you deserve it? Because I think when I think about it, if I was in that person's shoes, that's how I put myself in another person's shoes. If I was doing that, I would want somebody to take it. If I'm giving them something, I want them, hey, take it, So that's something I've been working on.
Oh, I was gonna say, I know y'all hear me a lot saying certain things because that is me being conscious, right? So one of the things that I'm working on is releasing judgment. Yeah. So a lot of times you'll hear me say a negative thought, then I'll be like, nothing's negative. So that's me working on being staying conscious and not judging things as right or wrong, good and bad.
No?
I was gonna say lately I've been very conscious about what I'm thinking.
Cool.
And so it'll get frustrating sometimes. Well, I shouldn't say that, but it'll be challenging because I be in my head just fighting each other. I'm like, but I eventually get to the point where I change my thinking on it. So I've been feeling like whatever I'm thinking or feeling, like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's gonna show up. Like, so I just been feeling that, like, and then when I really believe that, so now I be careful about what I'm thinking, like, so I be just battling with what I'm thinking and trying to be more conscious about what I'm saying in my head and what I'm, saying.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the first steps too, is when you're able to catch yourself. Like you hear yourself saying that thing, or you hear yourself thinking that thought, or you feel yourself feeling that feeling that, because we can just think it and not even realize we just thought it. And we have so many thoughts like that goes under the radar. We're not even realizing, that we just was like, why he doing that? Like we're not even realizing it happens so quickly. But I think one thing that when I say stay conscious, what I really mean, like to sum all of this up together, is to remember who you are. So we go unconscious, we forget, we think that we're just this human body. We think that what we see with our eyes, that's all there is out there. We think that the world is doing stuff to us. We think that there's a good and bad, a right and wrong. So all of that is being unconscious. And when we remember who we really are, that we are connected to the source of all that exists, that we are powerful beyond measure, that we are creators. And so everything, like we can take responsibility for everything that we see out there, because we do have that power. And so staying conscious is everything that we've said here, but really is remembering who you really are, remembering that you are a divine being, and remembering that at any moment you have the power to change whatever's going on in this moment. So if something's going, awry, the question is, why did you create that? Why did you create it, and what would you like to create instead? And create instead by changing your consciousness, raising yourself out of whatever that thing was. Raise yourself up, remember who you are, go into your heart, feel that love. And really, that's all you really have to do to stay conscious, is just to keep radiating love to whatever the situation is.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better, honestly.
All right, well, are we done? Sounds like we're done. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. And just remember just to take some time out just in your thinking and start realizing whatever it is that you want to be. Realize when you're not being it and just switch it. It's nothing to beat yourself up about. It's okay if you slipped or whatever, just get right back on track. And the more you practice, the easier it'll be, and in no time you'll be that thing that you're saying you want. So you're going to practice being it now. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, this is Arvette.
This is Steven.
Rodney.
Teron.
Bye.